on-premise installation of IBM Connections. So what I know is presenting you an agenda. My name is Michael Gollmig. I'm a developer and consultant with Tact. My co-presenter, or well, in the end, he is the main presenter, will be Christian Nuxem, also a developer and consultant with Time to Act. And I've already seen Felix. He is probably not doing too much today, but he is available and will be, of course, available for chat or for questions. And as you can see, we have points that we want to go through today. The installation of XCC, nation bar customization, XCC for communities, for mobile, and for the anonymous mode. And as a last point, I have sort of, we have taken down a note on the Q&A session. I think, if I'm right, there is one way of having Q&A where we would like to open the lines just in the middle of the presentation. And as I already said, it's an easy one right down in the chat if you have questions, or just quickly unmute and raise voice for that. So in the end, let's start with the installation of XCC. That's the first big point that we have today. And so we should start with this slide. But I want to kill you by PowerPoint presentations. We don't do any more slides today. We do it live. And for that, I'd like to hand over to Christian now. Are you ready?
Yeah, thank you, Michael. So my name is Christian Nuxem. I'm one of the developers of XCC, Michael, and yeah, I will today show you how to install XCC version 12 on a Linux system with DB2. And yeah, first of all, I want to show you where you can download the XCC newest version. So this here is the normal greenhouse community of XCC, and there is a file called XCC 12 for IBM Connections 5.x. And when you download it, you will get the zip file, and yeah, I prepared this one and already downloaded it. And yeah, in the zip file, there's the IR file included, and the technical user guides, the known issues and documentations. And we'll also need the SQL scripts later on, and also sprites for the mobile and the small CSS example. Yeah, so we will start with the technical users guide. I will show you the users guide where we will go through. We will start with the installation, which is here on chapter 4 on the installation prerequisites. And I will start with creating a cluster and creating one cluster member, so a new application server. And on this server we will install XCC. Yeah, so let's start. I will open my C. Hopefully I don't have to log in again. Now everything is fine, so I will go to WebSphere application server clusters on the left side and just hit the new button, and I will name my cluster to TTA cluster. And yeah, that's everything we need to do in step 1. In step 2, we can create our first cluster member. So create the cluster because we can scale horizontally and vertically. And yeah, this is the best practice, so we can scale better. And yeah, my member name will be TTR server 1 because it's the first one, and maybe in the future to have a second one. So if I need to do anything here, I will skip and go to the next slide, and here I could now create the next cluster member, so the next server. But at the moment I'm fine with one server, so I will just click here next to the summary point, and yeah, I will click on finish here. So, yeah, now the cluster and the server is creating. and hopefully it will be a bit faster than it should. Oh, now it's done. I can just save it to the configuration, and there is my TTR cluster, which is stopped at the moment. And if I go to server types, you will also see there is now a TTA server 1. And the IC cluster for IBM Connections cluster is of course installed with IBM Connections, so there is everything in this, all applications are installed in this server. So, step would be to install XCC in application. Or we could just, we will go with the application here. And, I will just show that there is no XCC here, and we can install it. So I will press the install button here, and I have to choose my file. So the folder, the XCC12 file. So I will open it and click on next. And this will take a few seconds because you will upload now the EAR file. So it's already done. Here I could choose between fast path and detailed. I'll choose the fast path here, and now I could choose here the application name. I will just leave it as XCC EAR and skip this one. And here's the first step where we need to do something. XCC is the normal XCC module, and XCC Global is for anonymous access. And both have to be mapped to the web server, of course. So it's in the and to our newly created TTR cluster. So I'll do this. Now I see here the servers are web server and the TTI cluster. And now I can go next step. So we don't need to do anything in the next step. We can just skip it here. Also for the next one we can skip it. So it's a summary. See, okay, application name is XCC here. I'll press finish, and now it will be installed on our TTA cluster. So it will also take a few seconds. And after this, the application is installed on our server. The server is in a cluster, and we can start to this here. And after that, we can start to create our database. So, I can show you that here is the XCC EAR, and it's stopped, of course. And in the next step, we will map the user, so security roles, to our users or groups. For the reader role, I want to have all authentication applications real. And for admins, of course, I want to have a few users. So I'll search for all users here, and we'll put VAS admin, connections admin, and my Frank Adams selected admins. Okay. Okay here. And now I can just save it to the master configuration. So that's it. That's it. So after we got our server, we got XCC as an application on the server, and got a few admins and all others at the reader role. So now I will go over through my server, through my database server, and will create XCC as a database. So for that, on Linux, I will just open my bash. Will connect to my local server. So with SSH here, it's my DB2 instance 1 user. If you got multiple instances, of course you have to do it for your instance 2 or instance 3 user. And mobile.time2demo.com is my host name. So I will connect there, enter my password, and I'm in. I already prepared something. You can see it now. I will go back to the root directory, and in the temp folder which is marked here, is already the create XCC DB2 database SQL script. This has to be run now. So then XCC will be created as a database. So I will just start. I think it's DB2. We can just look at the documentation for that step. It's on 28, on page 28. So I will go there and see. Okay, it's debo minus t4f, and then our name of the file. So db2 minus tfr, then XCC database 2.sql, and I will run it. And now it will take a few seconds to create the database XCC and to grant access to the database for the user, for the LC user, which is the Lotus Connections user. That also, or that has, he has also access to all other connections applications or connections databases. So maybe it's the first point where we can answer questions, Michael, if there are some questions up to now.
With one remark I can do, as you see, this is a SQL script that's executed, and if you have special environments or differences in your environment, it's an easy one to modify the script according to your environment and run it.
Of course, we could just show the script. I will open it here. So you see, it just creates the database, connect to it, and grant access to all tables with the user LC user, so the Lotus Connections user. And of course, you could just customize it at this point and say, okay, I want to create a database which is called Digital Workplace Hub or something like that, and connect to this. And, that's everything I just have here. Yes, SQL command completed successfully for all our comments. This is great. So that's everything we do on the Linux system. So I can just exit here and close my bash. So the steps are on the ISC again. We have to create our JDBC provider and our data sources. So we will to JDBC and JDBC providers here, select cell here as the scope, and create a new one. Just hit new. Will take a few seconds, and now we can specify our database type. And because I got a DB2 here, I will select the DB2. You could also have here an Oracle or an SQL server. These three are at the moment the supported databases for connection, so Oracle and MS SQL. So I'll select here DB2 and DB2 Universal JDBC Driver Provider.
Die mal rein, dann kann ich das richtig gut hören, dann kann ich das selber machen, Alter.
Please mute your microphone.
Sorry.
So, this is everything we need to do in step 1 here. And I can just click on next, and then I will be in step 2. For step 2, here are the class passes for this driver, and have to be sure that both of these inputs here are filled with the correct path name. So in Linux systems, it's always opt IBM JDBC, and And yeah, for Windows, of course, it's a little bit different, but this should be filled here both. And yeah, then we should just go to next. Yeah, click on finish. That's everything we need to do here. I can save here. Now here's my DB2 Universal JDBC provider. And now I can go to data source and to create in my cell here also a new data source. So data source name here, yeah, irrelevant, but I will just do it with the documentation. So as you can see, this is the JDBC driver provider, documented. And after that, here is the data source. So the data source name should be XCC data source. So this, and yeah, this one is important, JND name, and this is JDBC/XCC. So for the first step, and the next step will be to select an existing JDBC provider. Yeah, we just created one. You could also here use the activities JDBC provider because we are using the same user as the connection is using. So the database user is the LC user. But yeah, we created a new provider to have everything with XCC. So I will select my new provider and click on next. Already on step 3 now. Step 3, we have to fill in here our database name. As you could see in the script, database name is XCC in capital letters. You could customize it, and this is the point where you have to customize it then too. And so name is localhost. And yeah, I don't need to do anything else here. So I go over to the next step. And for next step here, we can just use again the activities just because this is also for security, and we want to have connections to handle the security the same way for XCC than it is doing for connections. So I will go to the next part, and here is the summary of what we have done for the data source. Everything looks fine here, JDBC XCC, the data source name is XCC data source. We have our newly created JDBC driver provider, and the database name is XCC, the server name is localhost. I will finish this. And I can save it directly to the master configuration. So you can see here our new XCC data source. And to do a little bit more here, so I clicked on XCC data source link here, and yeah, there's our new data source, and I have to do some customizations here. So at the right side there is additional properties, and there are 3 points, and we have to do something on each point. So I will go to the connection pool properties, which is the easiest one, and I'll go to maximum connections, and we'll just say instead of 10, we want to have 100 maximum connections, and minimum are not 1 but 10. So always the factor 10 is here, right? I will apply. And after that, I have to save it again to the master configuration. This is the first step. You can also here there are the properties and custom properties next. So go to data source again. On the right side, there are custom properties, and I have to search for results that hold ability to value 1. I will explain later why we need to do this. That's it. here it is, results at holdability, and I will switch the value from 2 to 1. And here's the explanation why. We just want to have the connection open for every transaction. So that's correct here. And yeah, I will apply that. And again, I need to save it directly to the master configuration. So again, to XCC data source and my custom properties here. I need to create a new one, like documentation. There is create a new property, downgrade hold cursors under XA, and set it to true with the type Boolean. So I'll just go here and say, okay, create a new one, and I will see the name from documentation. So this was the wrong one. Downgrade hold cursors under XA. The value is true, and the type is Boolean. So I will apply that, and again I need to save it to the configuration. That's everything for the custom properties here. So now we can go back to XCC data source and follow up with the documentation here. As you can see, the maximum connections done. So the next step would be to validate existing pooled connections. And this is on the WebSphere application server data source properties. It's also on the right side that the additional properties. So just to check this checkbox here, there's nothing else I have to do. So I will just apply this and save it directly to the master configuration. And this should be everything I need to do here. So we are done with our JDBC provider. We created our new data source and connected it to our JDBC provider. So now I want to test my connection. So that I will just here select the XCC data source and click on test connection. And hopefully now it says everything was created successfully, and otherwise I did a mistake. So let's hope and put on connection. And yeah, the test connection operation for data source XCC data source on server deployment manager and node load connections deployment manager was successful. So yeah, XCC is able now to create a connection to the database. So next step, I will create, or I will generate and propagate the plugin for the web server, because we created a new cluster and a new server, and our web server needs to register that there is a new cluster and a new cluster member. So I'll just go to my web server here, select the web server and click on generate plugin. After that, I just need to click on it again and say propagate plugin. So that's everything we need to do here. So our new web server knows now that there is a cluster and the server, and now we could just start our server. So I'll go to our web servers, CTA server, and say, and this could now take a few seconds, but there's only one application there, so it would be fast.
And at the moment, it is loading. XCC for the first time is creating additional entries into the tables that we have just created in the database. And well, this is allowed to take a few seconds. You will see. Now, already some questions that we can answer here. I've seen it was quite technical, but in it was only about 20 minutes, a bit more than 20 minutes with the explanation to install the application and create a database connection. When Chris finished, he can now open the application.
Yeah, server started. I can go to the cluster and see, okay, the cluster is now also started. Now also check my applications. So I will go back to Applications, WebSphere Enterprise Applications, go page and see, okay, XCC is also started. So now this is the first time I'm here on my mobiletime2demo.com on my page. And I will just go to XCC/main. And yeah, here now forward to the admin panel of XCC and to the context route section. And I'm here because I did not enter my context routes until yet. And here are the default context routes at the moment. And I have to check if they are correct, or if I change the connections context route, so I have to change them also here. Connection is here the default deployment, so the context routes are also default, so I can just save here. I will just try to XCC main again, and then I'm forwarded to the connections environment. So I have to choose, okay, is this the correct connections version? It is 5.5. The connection theme is the newly Hikari theme. So I will save this. After that, as you can see, I'm directly, just be ordered to XCC main. And, at this point, I can start with creating widgets. So I will click on Customize and see, okay, there is no license key found in database, which is correct because it's a new database. So I have to search for the license key. One moment. I think it's okay. Michael, do you have the license key ready?
I don't have it ready. Give
me a second. Yeah. So I'm going to search for it, Michael. A few seconds. Yeah, at this point, the installation is done. So we're here with XCC, just need to our license key. And of course, now there is the point for Björn and Philip. So if you are on this point, you just ask Philip or Björn, sales consultants, for a demo key. So we will out demo keys for 30 days, or of course you could also directly buy it. So are there questions?
I just sent you the key in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. So that I can check my About tab, and I can see, okay, 400 users until 2019. There is the license key, and I got XCC version 12 installed. And now I can just create the first widget, like news widget, and enter to the page, open the edit, for my test community. See, there is our first entry. So that's it. XCC is running. This was the installation, and as you can see, the installation is very easy and very fast. And, I think now we will have time for questions, and after that we will do some customizations like the XCC for community configuration, the anonymous access, the mobile configuration, and as you can see here already, customized my header, so there is a link to XCC, and we will also show this.
So any questions, please unmute and feel free to ask or ask in the chat. We can just mix it in. As Chris already said, it was straightforward and very fast. I just took the time, it was less than 30 minutes to install, and just with a tiny port that we don't have a key at hand, and that we had to do a couple of explanations in between. So it is straightforward. You can easily install it that way. In the end, you will see it takes more or less than the installation of the connections itself. So no more questions in the meantime. Christian, I would suggest navigation bar customization now.
You wait 1 minute if there are questions, or just go.
I think if we get questions in the chat, we will in during the presentation and go on in the meantime.
So I will go now with a program called CyberDuck to connect to my server via SFTP. We'll go to first. I think we can do the header customization, which is the easiest one, and not only the header customization but also the flyout page. For that I will just go to IBM Connections, there shared customization, and on common nav state there is the header JSP. Header JSP can be just copied or duplicated from every connections application. So each connection application has the header JSP, and we just copy from that applications and save it in this data structure here. And I will just click edit, and we'll show you that this is the normal header JSP with just 2 small customizations. So the first customization is here. So in the first UL class, Lotus inline list, there's the Lotus banner XCC. So this is the XCC link here. As you can see, it's pointing to XCC main page XCC, and in front of the homepage link. That's what you see in the browser. There's XCC, and then there's the homepage. This is the first one, and this is also from the documentation. I'll just look at the on patients here, and then there is general XCC configuration, and here is the flyout mode configuration, and or a new link to the IBM Connections header navigation. So page 67 or page 63 are important here. I can just go to these pages. You can see here, you just need to copy this little piece here into your header JSP, and there's also explained where you need to copy it into. And that's it. After that, you just need to restart your server to get the customizations live. Then you got the XCC link into the header navigation. And second one is our flyout page, and the flyout page is also just a small button. And this is in the second one. So let me check. Lotus Mail, Lotus Banner Calendar. And here is our Start XCC flyout page. And as you can see, there's just also a small snippet of HTML which is copied here at the end of the file, and this will show the flyout page. And my flyout page should be here. So I click on it, and at the moment I will see an error because no page is configured. Can easily to XCC settings or the XCC flyout page. Enter here a page. So I will select my XCC page. Say okay, in 500 and 500 pixel, and save it. After that, I can click again on this one, and we'll see here is the same page that I'm on at the moment, and I can reach this page here from everywhere in Connections. So I could just be on the home page on my normal activity stream and click on the flyout page and have here my latest news or whatever. So yeah, this is the configuration for the IBM Connections header customization. And yeah, the next step would be to activate XCC for community, activate XCC for the mobile access. So I will go back to CyberDuck, and now I will go to opt IBM into my WebSphere server. Oh, and now the application is crashed. That was not planned. Sorry, one moment. Again, I will open CyberDuck.send. I will connect to my server via SFTP. Go to opt IBM WebSphere App Server. And at App Server, I will go to Profiles, Deployment Manager, Config, and Cells. So you can see the paths here. And yeah, this is the cell name. So my cell name is IC cell for IBM Connections. And then I need to go into the Lotus Connections folder. So to the Lotus Connections folder, I'm in there. And now there is the file called widconfig.xml. Already downloaded it. It's downloads. I can just directly open it with sub. There is my widgets config.xml. And yeah, we just need to do here, similarly to the header.jsp, just a small HTML snippet or XML snippet that is pasted here. I can just search for it. It's XCC. So there is a widget definition here. So here are the widgets and the definitions. And in this widget definitions, there should be a widget definition called XC2 with a description, a bundle ref ID, and everything here is just in documentation. There is that it in the documentation under configuration, and then there is XCC community mode configuration. So it's widgets config XML here, and yeah, this is the thing you need to do for the community. Of course, you could also create string files, so you could have the internationalization, so you have different languages, but or translation for every language. Yeah, mainly this is the point where XCC is implemented here. Yeah. So for the mobile configuration, there's not a big difference in. Got here in this directory that is called mobileconfig.xml. I think I've also downloaded this. Then I will just download it. mobile config, could be just opened with. And as default application here, I just entered the XCC app. And when I search for the XCC app, you get the XCC app is of course in the application list. So there are all applications listed that are activated in the mobile app, and the XCC app is here as an extensibility section, as defined as an application with the icons for the XCC and the name for the XCC. We called it XCC. You could call it home or whatever. And then you could just specify here your URL for XCC. And this is my host name here, mobiletimetoDemo.com. You could, or you'll have another host name, and of course you could here now change also the page. So you have page, I don't know, page UK or something like that for your mobile experience. I think I'm done with the installation, the XCC for community configuration, mobile configuration, and Are there now questions?
Well, maybe a few notes to add. Of course, just showing you how to change and modify the configuration files, but you will have to restart the connections cluster in order to bring these applications, these changes into action. We did miss that out because it takes quite some time. You should know, if you do that, if you restart the IBM Connections cluster, this is the only time where you have to plan a minimum timeout, exactly for the time of restarting the server. So it's easy as that. XCC being installed, the very first part could have been done without any timeout. It's called XCC in stealth mode for evaluation. And the second, third, and fourth part that you have seen right after that are modifications that, of course, affect the users because they get to see XCC, to XCC, and of course they will see a couple of timeouts when you start the server.
Io gliel'ho spiegato ieri sera a Damiano e Damiano non l'ha capito. Sì.
Okay, we get a noise. And then
Ciao Giovanni.
okay. We just try to go on with the presentation.
I did it, Tim. Sorry for
Okay.
On Michael, sorry for that.
The anonymous mode still to show.
Yeah. Okay. So should I show it, or do you want to show something?
Please continue. It's not that much of things to do with the anonymous mode. It's a beautiful fact if you see it.
Now on our demo environment, where we got already a prepared anonymous page, I think you want to also see the anonymous page or the XCC for community page. So first of all, I will show the configuration for the anonymous access. So to XCC settings, and there is a small button which is called Admin Dashboard. Now open me again the Admin Dashboard, which you have also seen after the configuration, after the installation. So with the context rules and the connections environment, and also a tab that is called Anonymous Access. And on Anonymous Access, just have to enter the connections host name and run as user, and of course the password for the run as user. So Anonymous Access is done with a technical user. So you need one user which is getting the data and something like that. Of course, on anonymous page you cannot write, comment, like something, but we need this user to get the information. And yeah, so the anonymous access is just this input field here. You don't have to do anything else. But after you've done this configuration, you need to restart the application once. So yeah, that's it. And now I will just show an anonymous page. So I will search for it in my page management. Oh, there it is already. So this is the anonymous page, which is just at the moment at the normal or at the with a registered user. So as you can see, I can like, I can unlike, and I can comment. And now I will just call this URL as an anonymous user. So I replace the main here with the global servlet, and you will see that there is that the layout and feeling is a little bit different. So as you can see, as anonymous, the first thing is that you do not have a connections navigation. So there is no possibility here to get into IBM Connections. So there are no deep links or something like that into IBM Connections. And the second one is, I click on the news here, I can see the news, who created it, and I can also see the comments. There is no box for commenting or for liking or unliking this entry. So just read everything or search for people, and but I cannot comment or like something. So, of course, this is the first one that is the main point in the anonymous mode. And yeah, that's I think everything tell you about the anonymous mode. I can show you maybe the XCC community page. So this is the anonymous page. We got a small problem here with the LTPA token. Just one moment. And I have to log in now. So I'm logged in now, and I can see the whole page filled with content. And at this point you can see that this is here the community application. So we called it community home here, XCC, and it's the community EEE, so inspiration, ideas, and innovation. As you can see, we got the normal navigation, we got the small overview or welcome message, and then we got the blog posts from this community, we got files that are in this community, we got here our members that are in the community, we got the latest ideas, helpful bookmarks, and the upcoming events from this and from other communities. So the content can be from this community, but it can be also from another community. But of course, this is much better than the original overview page from on community. As you can see here, there's all the community description and the members, but on XCC it's more dynamically and way better than this. So this was the community application, and I think we have 5 minutes left. Next week we do some XCC customization, so we will explain how to customize the CSS of the XCC pages, how to customize the JavaScript or create custom widgets, and a couple of things more. Are there any questions now?
So, moment I don't know questions. I think what is overwhelmed by all the technical stuff that we have seen today. It was, yes, definitely. It was not the easiest stuff that you can ever see in a presentation, but compared to the installation of anything that's on WebSphere, it's probably an easy one. I think Marius can Chris did a better job in presenting all the single points that we have, all the single aspects of XCC that we have covered today. And of course, if there are any more questions, feel free to contact us. Feel free to them right now. We have a couple more minutes, yes. And as Chris said, next week we'll have the next different topic that will show you presentations and how you get XCC to an even more beautiful look and feel as we have it right now. So I want to say thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and thank you for your interest. A weekend for those in the Americas, they will still have the whole day. Germany, we are almost finished today. So have a good week. Bye-bye.
And I just read the comments, okay? You could also just normal speak, but of course the recording will be posted anywhere. I think on our homepage, I think it will be published. I think there will be a news, or next week we will just tell you where you can find the latest session. Yeah, thank you for all the good comments. I will be a newsletter with the recording, or you could just ask us next week. And yeah, thank you guys. Also from my side. And yeah, happy Patrick's Day. Bye. Bye.
Bye.